Oh, it's broadcasting. Well, hello and welcome to this episode of Open Social Media Initiative. I'm going to talk about time management and how you can incorporate some strategies in order to fit social media into your already really busy lives. So I'm going to go to screen share and share some tips. Okay. Bear with me for a second while I figure out why it's not showing me the right page. This one. Okay. Views. Okay. Screen share. All right. So let me see if anybody is trying to get in. Okay. So this is Open Social Media Initiative, a captive touch initiative to openly share education about social media. The topic of our workshop today is what does it take to make time for social media? Before we talk about tips for how to incorporate social media into your busy life, let's just try and find out how much time you actually really need. So I have broken down what is sort of the average time that you would need as a daily minimum in order to be effective. So for reading, one important thing about being successful in social media in terms of establishing yourself as a knowledgeable person, somebody who is a leader in their industry and someone who can share reliable information that through which people can develop trust, you really have to do a lot of reading. So I would recommend at least do 1 hour of reading per day, and that reading could be all sorts of different things, blogs, it could be scanning through different social media profiles to find important information, quotes, images, anything. The basic thing is that you look within the material in your industry and try to see what good information you can find that you can share. Then one important aspect of having a successful social media presence is to have a blog. You want to make sure that you put aside at least 1 to 2 hours each week for writing a blog post, editing it. You want to find images and include them into your blog because that increases the chance of people reading your material, and then when people leave comments, you want to make sure that you respond to the comments. So that takes time. Engagement is basically the most important part of social media, and by that I mean conversing with people via social media channels. Making relationships is the key. So you have to put aside some time, about 20 minutes and up to an hour a day for each platform. And by platform, I mean either Twitter, Facebook, Pinterest, whatever social media channel you are engaging in. So this is something that you have to make time for, because establishing relationships is important, and you really cannot establish relationship with people by doing short bursts of interaction. You have to give it your time. And one other thing that kind of might be counterintuitive into helping you find time for social media is what is required is at least 1 hour each week for you to unplug from your email, social media channels, anything that creates distraction, and set aside for thinking, measuring your success, looking at the numbers that you get from your interactions. Hopefully you do measure your progress such that you can plan for the following week such that you are more successful in your interactions and your activities. So the total is about 1.4 to 2.4 hours per day minimum to be effective for one blog and one social media platform. It's important how much time really you need so you can plan it in your day. So that's sort of a rough breakdown. I hope that's helpful to you. So the first step for you to be able to incorporate social media into your busy life is that you have to find that time. So how do you go about finding it? I have created 3 tables that can be downloaded from this link. It's a bit.ly link, bit.ly/OpenSM_tables. So first of all, print out table 1 and track 2 things. Everything you do every day for a whole week and the length of time that it takes for you to do it. Now, once you make that list, try to find things that you can basically purge, things that are not necessarily essential for you to be effective in your business, time wasters, and you know that we all have some of those. So label those ones that you find that you can get rid of or not essential. Basically, this is a prioritization exercise, and you label them with the letter Y because the table is asking you whether you should purge it or not. So this is a screenshot of the table. On the left-hand side is the day of the week. The task is the next column. So basically, write down the things that you do during the day, start time, finish time, and then once you finish this table, or you can either do it on a daily basis, ask yourself whether this is something that should be deprioritized. So that way you can find some time in your day. The second step would be starting with table 2, again from the same link. Write down when you will be doing these, some of the things that is required. So once you find those slots that you can get rid of, and then now you have that free time, when is it during your daily routine? And there are at least 3 things, as I mentioned, you should be doing: reading, or you can include doing research as part of your reading. As a part of your social media strategy, you should be also doing a lot of listening, so you can include that too. And then you have to be doing writing, like we said, writing blog posts, and also social media updates, because that can be considered writing as well. Then the very important component, engagement. So you have found the time, and now you know when you're going to do all those things within those time slots that you have found. Now it's time to plan what you're going to say. So this is a screenshot of table 2. You see that I have time on the left column and every day of the week. And then there are these 3 abbreviations for reading, writing, and engaging. So you know when you're going to do all this stuff. And believe me, when you plan this and you know that you're organized, you're going to do it, you're going to feel a lot better as well. You're going to feel relaxed and constantly, there's nothing nagging at the back of your head, when am I going to fit all these activities into my day? Then planning your content. And in order for you to know what to say, you need a content strategy. And so you have to refer to your content strategy that you sat down and developed. And if you don't know how to create one, you can view this slide deck. It's again a bit.ly link, bit.ly OpenOffice_HOA. It describes to you how you can create a content strategy. And if you're not sure how to do it, or if you have questions, you're welcome to ping me, give me a call, write me a message. So based on your content strategy, you can create a list of topics that you're going to talk about. And every major topic would have subtopics. So an example would be for a real estate professional. And let's say we use the topic loan. And the subtopic for that would be how your credit rating affects your ability to obtain a loan. So then you go to table number 3. Oh, is somebody with me? Okay, let me see if we have somebody joining us. Oh, hello. I didn't see you. I have my the screen cover me, so I didn't see you joined us. Thank you for joining us.
Okay, Sherry, thank you for having me.
Okay, so let's go back to the discussion. And now I've lost my, here it is. Okay. All right, so you print out table 3, and you're going to plug in that table the topics and subtopics that you're going to talk about and plan it. So you know when you're going to do it. So now it's time to plan when you're going to say what. And there is the table shows you 5 weeks, because some months have 5 weeks in them. So if you do this exercise, you are at a point where you have found the time, and now you have a plan and you know how to do it and what to say. So this is table 3. It's monthly editorial calendar. Week 1 through 5, you have a master topic and you have subtopics. And this doesn't only apply for blog posts. You can sort of go with the same theme if you like. One efficient way of handling your social media activities is to create themes for yourself. So that's one thing I've done with my social media channel, especially my Facebook page, in that I create daily themes, and I know on a particular day what I'm going to be posting about. So then you're not always wondering, what am I going to write about today? What am I going to post about today? When you have a plan, you know what to do. So then you put all your topics in here, and then you also know when you're going to do all the postings, and now by this time you have a plan. So you're probably saying, this is just a time management exercise. Where are the tips and tricks that I promised? And you have to know that even if I give you tips, if you haven't really found those times, and you haven't really done a good time management exercise, getting tips is really fruitless. So now let's get on with the tips. So one of the important things is that you really don't have to be in all social media channels. Some people think that they have to have. It's important to set up your accounts and secure the name for your business in all those places, but you don't really have to be active in all of them. It all depends on where your target audience hangs out the most. So how do you know which social media channel to concentrate your efforts on? Again, you go back to your content strategy, and based on that, based on the research you've done, you know where your target audience is and you focus on them. Then another thing that you can do automation, but with moderation. With all the things that we have to do, a little bit of automation can go a long way, and there are great tools out there. For example, Buffer app and Hootsuite allow you to schedule the posts that you're going to post, so you don't have to be behind your computer all the time to do the posting. So basically you can schedule sharing your content, but what I want to caution you about is that you don't just schedule content and walk away from the computer, because the point of us sharing content is to start conversations with people based on the content that we've shared. So it would be a mistake just to schedule things and basically walk away and not be there to start conversations. So make sure that the time when your postings are scheduled, you have some sort of access to your social media channels. So key point, you don't have to be, again, glued to your social media channels to be successful, but what you should do is schedule. You remember we said we have engagement time. Do your best to try to schedule the time that during the day that you know you're going to spend time engaging, and coordinate it with the times that you're going to be sharing, such that then now you can start conversations based on what you share. Another tip is to create content in big chunks, in bursts, and then divide it into different social media channels, or for different channels that you communicate through. Because if you have allowed a certain amount of time to sit down and shut down the computer, close down your browser, don't check your Facebook and Twitter stream or Google Plus stream, don't look at your email, you can be very efficient, create content, a whole lot of content, hopefully, and then you can spread it out. And another thing that you can do, you can repurpose content. And what do I mean by repurpose? So let me give you an example. So going back to our real estate topic, which is loan, and subtopic would be effect of credit rating on your ability to get a loan. So you can write an article about that, a blog post about that. You can also create an engaging image on that topic. That image can be included into the blog post. Every blog post should have an engaging image. It increases the chance of people reading it, and also it encourages people to pin your blog post to their Pinterest account. And now we know that with LinkedIn, pretty soon when people post their updates on LinkedIn, they have the option of adding images. So it becomes even more important to add imaging to your posts. So that image that you create can be put into blog posts. In that same image could also be pinned into Pinterest. Then the ideas that you are expressing in a blog post can be made into a slide deck. And also, you can also create a short video based on the concepts that you talk about. And a slide deck, both the slide deck and a short video can be included in SlideShare, which is another fantastic social media channel which everybody should be on. It's a great source of traffic. And then all of these things that you are putting out, the blog post, the video, the SlideShare, they can all be shared on your other social media channels, Facebook, Twitter, Google Plus. So when you can start from one idea, write one blog post and an image and a video, and now all of a sudden you have content for all sorts of different places. And it's good to work with themes, in my opinion, and stick with your topic. Don't stray away from your topic, so people really can figure out what it is that you're offering, what it is that is your strength. Be focused. Another tip for efficiency, this is a must. Every business owner needs to have a smartphone. There's just no excuse, because there is so many things that we can do on the run, and there's lots of productivity apps that have been developed for smartphones. So all of these social media platforms have a mobile application, so you can basically engage on the go on your phone. You don't have to be sitting in front of your computer to keep up with conversations on social media channels. We talked about reading and curating content. And mobile curation tools like Rockmelt and Feedly make it really easy to look for content and to curate them or share them or schedule them for later on sharing. Evernote, remember we said that it's a good idea to sit down and have some time to reflect on what you've done and sit down and plan. And a lot of times you need a place to jot down your thoughts. Sometimes you're running around and you see an amazing event, you want to capture it, you want to capture a video or a picture. You can take all of that on your phone and store it on Evernote, and then through Evernote you're going to be able to access it anywhere. So these are some, again, tips for using your smartphone to be more effective. So it's possible for some busy professionals that they did this time management exercise and they still can't find the time. They have to have time to run their business, work on their business rather than in their business. So what is the solution then? And the solution is to hire somebody who can do that for you, whether a community manager, virtual assistant, someone who is that person? What are some of the characteristics? That's someone who knows your industry, your business. And my advice would be to pay a little bit more for a senior level person, because then you'd be paying for them to learn on the job. And your business is more important than that. And if you are going to hand your engagement at your social media activities to somebody else, don't go for a junior intern because of what I just described, because the experience can hurt your efforts. And there is an example in this link that I have provided as to why it is so important to have people posting for you that have experience. So the question is, so we should be totally forget about interns to increase our productivity? No, you shouldn't forget. There is room for interns. They can do research. One of the important things that interns can do for you are researching your topics, managing your database. Sometimes just sending a thank you for a retweet or a share or something like that can be done by an intern. For creating your customer relationship management and tasks basically that don't require advanced skills. So I guess another efficiency tool would be to hire a junior person to do these things that would be considered working in your business and not on your business. So if you like what you heard, please share the video, like it, +1 it, and if you'd like to be notified about our future workshops, or if you have a feedback, you're welcome to send me a message or use this link to tell me what you think. So next, I'm going to go to screen share and share some latest social media news, and then we'll start the discussion. Okay. So what is new with Facebook? Facebook is streamlining their ad products. They have about 27 different ad types, which could be quite confusing, and they're going to be streamlining it based on, according to what they say, based on the feedback that they have received from marketers, and they're going to bring down the number to less than half of that number. There is a questions feature on your pages where you can post. Basically, it's like a poll. And that feature is going away. And online offers, if you have seen seen sometimes when you go to Facebook, there is something that you can offer. Excuse me, I have a phone distracting me. So the offers, I don't know if you've seen or not, but sometimes you see people providing online offers where you can just click and claim them. That's been something that is very powerful. But Facebook is taking it away. They're taking that feature away and is just allowing people to use a regular page post ad to promote their online offers that would take people to their website. So that sort of, they took away that roundabout way to claiming offers from business owners. Facebook is also including social signals in all of their ad products, so not only people can look at the ad and interact with it, and also at the same time like and share your content and other social actions that are possible in Facebook. Another really good change, which I think is a welcome change, is that all the ads will have a uniform format, meaning that all the different types of ads are going to have the same look and format, and it's going to make it easier for people that create ads to optimize the ad based on ad copy. Because if you have different formats for the different ads, then you have, when you do your A/B testing, there's so many different things that you have to consider with respect to optimizing the efficiency of the ad. But if all the ads look the same, then there's not so many things that you're going to have to optimize. So to me, I think this change is a welcome change, and it's anything that can make Facebook easier for us to deal with is welcome, in my opinion. Now, Twitter increases number of lists to a total of 1,000. If you have been using lists, it used to be that you could only make 20 of them, which was quite a limitation, but now individuals can create up to 1,000 lists, and each list can have up to 5,000 users. So why is that a welcome change? Why is that good news? Well, you have to understand why lists are important. Let's say you're finding people with whom you want to build relationships. There are, when you grow your list, your following on Twitter, all of a sudden you can have 2,000, 4,000 people that are following you or you're following. So how are you going to keep up with all of them? How are you going to focus your efforts? And lists allow you to do that. So the way you do it, you create a number of categories for the type of people that you want to meet. It's basically a similar concept to Google Plus circles. Google Plus basically forces you to become more focused with respect to who you want to meet and how you want to organize them. So on Twitter, you can do it with lists. Let's say you're a photographer and you want to connect with a number of different business partners or people that could be your customers. So maybe wedding planners as business partners or new moms as your customers. You can create lists, and then once you find them, you can assign them to these different lists. So for example, for a while, you can focus your interaction with finding business partners. And then you can basically focus your interaction on a particular day, which list you want to interact with. So this is a screenshot of the lists page on Twitter, and there are two different tabs subscribed to. These are lists that I have made and also lists that I have subscribed to. And the great thing about the lists feature is that you can subscribe to the lists that other people have created. So somebody else has done the hard work. Member of is when you are listed. These are the lists that people have added you to, and you want to strive to be listable. So lists, they allow you to organize your stream. They help you prioritize your interaction. And like I said, the great thing about lists is other people's lists. Somebody else has done the hard work of creating the list. All you have to do is subscribe to it to interact with people. It's sort of like the shared circles on Google+. Now, news shared by my friend Cynthia Sanchez about Pinterest. If you are a pinner, you know that after a while you create so many pins, and there's one pin that you really need to find that you really liked, but you can't find it. You're going to have to go through all your boards. But apparently now Pinterest allows you to search among your pins for that particular pin that you want. Now, and I'm going to use this as a talking point to let you know that Cynthia is going to be presenting a series of two seminars, upcoming seminars within the next 2 weeks about how to use Pinterest and how to measure your success with interest. So keep an eye on for the invitation. Okay. David.
Yes, yes.
Any questions, any comments?
No, this is the first one of yours that I've attended, and so I wanted to get a feel for what they were all about, and your information is very helpful.
Mm-hmm.
And
do you have any time management strategies you want to share?
No. I need all the help I can get.
Okay.
No, I think, and I do try to practice time management. I really do, because over the years I've not done a very good job with it. But now, I think, well, first of all, you have to work from a schedule, a plan. You have to know where you're going first, and so that's probably the most important part of time management. And then you have to just total focus on getting there, and don't let the things that distract you normally distract you, and whatever it takes to eliminate those distractions. The other thing that you call it time management, and I always am looking for the most efficient way to do things, be they business things, be they personal things. And as I get older and my mind is not as keen as far as memory goes, I find that when something pops into my mind, that unless I absolutely cannot do it for whatever the reason, I do it. Because if you have to go, if you have to go back to do it, then you're not as efficient. Or maybe you forget it. You forget it. So, like I said, I'm very, very conscientious of that in the entire day. That things will pop in, and if I can get to them at that moment, I do it. If I can't, I try to do something that will remind me to get back to it. But typically, if you have to go back to something, you're wasting time.
Yeah, exactly. Another way to be efficient is to try to create systems to do things only once.
Systems.
Yeah. So if you write emails, that signature at the end is so important, because you really don't have to type it anymore. Just autoresponders in some of these tools are really important. One surprising thing that I found that when I did it, it was surprising, was that I had to unplug from social media so I can be more efficient on social media when I plug in, because whenever I'm doing something on the computer and if Facebook is on, and that notification comes up, you just have to check it. So I find that when I just shut everything down, I can actually plan for my social media activities better.
I have found too, and this ties into time management very closely, that there are, and more people are doing this because it's easier to do, that, for instance, emails have always, for the most part, been a pretty burdensome thing. We let emails run our lives. And I probably, I'm online all day long. I mean, I typically don't leave the position that you see, except once an hour I get up to walk around. And but I'm online, so there's a lot of folks out there right now that are only reading emails at a certain only once a day, as opposed to all day long.
Uh-huh.
And you kind of figure that out as you send something to somebody, and how long it takes for them to respond to it. And so that's a key thing today. So if you're the other side of that equation is if you're an email marketer, then you have to pay attention to when people are reading their emails, so you get the highest level of exposure.
Yeah, definitely. And the analytics that email programs that you give, like MailChimp and all the rest of them, that it gives you all the information in one place. And again, in order to be effective for your next email, I feel like you have to, again, shut down everything and look at your data and see what the data is telling you in terms of the way people interact. So,
Actually, I stopped doing email marketing for the longest time because it wasn't effective for what I do,
oh, okay.
and so I just didn't do it. I started up again about 2 months ago, maybe 3 months ago now, and so I'm kind of looking to see what people are saying, the best times to send email, and I when they say such and such is not a good time, I will sometimes mail that time, because if the world is saying don't mail at that time, what better time to mail if you want to get noticed?
Yeah.
I actually, now my pattern right now is I send an email out, if I'm sending a mass email out, and my list isn't that large, but well, it's probably about 500.
Okay.
But I send it out at Friday afternoon, 3:30 Eastern Standard Time. That's the time I send, because over the years I've picked up, a lot of folks are sitting at their desk at 3:30 on a Friday afternoon. They're cleaning up for the weekend. They're actually maybe going through email at that time, just as a way to end the week. But then if they like what I have to the subject line of my email, then they'll say, geez, I've got the weekend now, and I'll put it away, and I'll read it Saturday, I'll read it Sunday when I read email, whatever. But I have found my my open rates and my read rates are pretty high. I can't get anything to do. I can't get folks to do anything, but they do read. At least they open them, and it starts from opening.
Yeah, yeah. I don't usually personally don't subscribe to these statistics. I think everybody need to optimize it for themselves. So I
I'm
don't
sorry.
really,
What was the first part of what you said?
the statistics that comes out, I don't pay attention to it because I think everybody needs to optimize it for their own audience.
Good point.
Yeah, so I sort of make the point of blocking that.
Well, the other side is, and my open rates are pretty consistent from week to week, and then I also have the ability. I use an email service that's tied into my web service, and it's the worst email system that I've ever used. I mean, it's very cumbersome to use, but I use it because it's cheap. It's real cheap. Anyway, it does give me the ability to see who's opened my email.
Yeah.
And so I go and I see, and then that allows me to do a follow-up. Now, I will never say I saw that you opened my email at 3:30 on Friday afternoon. I will never say that, but I know, knowing that they have, I can then do some type of follow-up.
Yeah,
based upon
they
that.
have interest.
Correct.
Yeah.
Or they would not have opened it up.
Yeah.
So I really am making the most conscientious effort I ever have to manage my time better, and that's probably the biggest challenge that a small business owner has.
Exactly.
And very particularly if you're a one-person operation, as most of us are. I mean, if you're not managing your time properly, you're going to go nowhere. Absolutely nowhere.
Yeah, and that's when and then a time comes when you really have to be asking yourself, do I spend the time to, let's say, go through, because all of this stuff have a learning curve. So do I spend my time go through this learning curve and then do the things like work in my business when I basically have to go out? I can go out and do income producing work, and maybe outsourcing or delegating sometimes is the best time management strategy, in my opinion. Sometimes
that's a great point, and I actually only one time in my life, in 40 years, 40 plus years of being a small business owner, did I ever have a staff? Did I ever have employees?
Mm-hmm.
And I hated the experience. I hated it. We were very productive and we achieved our business goals, but I only did it for a year, and I said, I'm not doing this anymore. I don't manage my time well enough to do the things that I do best, and I'm wasting too much time doing things that I don't do. So I opened and closed an operation in 1 year.
Wow.
And we were actually profitable in the 11th month of that operation. So my business plan worked, but I wasn't enjoying the experience. And we as small business owners spend a lot of time doing the things that we do, and you have to enjoy what you're doing. And if it becomes unenjoyable, then you're going to do a horrible time of managing your time if you don't enjoy the experience.
But it doesn't always have to be hiring somebody, though. Because
no, I outsource now. Now, when I need a task done and somebody can do it better than I can, they can do it more efficiently than I can, I'll outsource it.
Yeah, so outsourcing is probably the way to go. And if one of the advantages of being on social media is not only to connect with your customers, you can also connect with people and develop relationships with them and create basically a team. And in these days and age, one person can't do everything, and if sometimes hiring people can be time consuming, it adds a lot of costs to the business. But if you can find partnerships and subcontract, like you say you're doing, that's probably the most efficient way to go. You might have
and you raise another issue, and it's a very, very strong theme of what I promote, that I believe that there is, not believe, I know there is, I see it, I do it, a new small business model being written and or being practiced, and that's what I call small business collaboration.
Mm-hmm.
If I know Sherry can do something better than I can do, and Sherry knows that I can do something better than she can do, why not collaborate? Why not work together? And it's that is what I really believe that's critical to the new way of doing business. And when I say the new way of doing business, business has changed dramatically in the last 5 years.
Mm-hmm.
It's just changed dramatically. Technology has been a big driver of that. But then it was about 5 years ago, in the United States, and I'm not so sure how much of it went on in Canada, but that's when we started big business started laying a lot of people off.
Mm-hmm.
And when big business did it, there was the filter down effect to small business. And so the last 5 years have been very, very challenging for small business. And to that point, I'm seeing more and more collaboration, and social media is really, making that happen. I have found, the original hangout group that I really was involved in was Ray's Tuesday group. Mm-hmm. And that's the first time that I really got serious about interacting with other folks on a regular basis. And I have, from that group, probably developed 4 business kinds of relationships.
That's good.
Which is a great thing. I mean, that plays to time management,
mm-hmm.
that plays to technology, and that plays to the concept of small business collaboration.
Exactly.
And we're willing. One of the major problems, as you well know, we as small business owners give way too much away for free.
Yeah.
We give way too much away for free.
Yeah.
We take some of that pain out of giving it away for free if we get something back.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
And so I have made a horrible mistake in the last 7 or 8 years with giving too much and interacting with folks who are not givers, they are takers. And I've been in denial of that and naive of that, but I am no more. And that also plays into time management. I was wasting a lot of time doing good things for people. And I can say that with all, as I search inward, but I went and asked them to do a small little task for me, and they don't answer. They don't respond. And I'm saying, I spent all these years giving, and you taking.
Yeah, well, you have to find the people that have the same philosophies as you do, and once you find them, then yeah. In these days and age, if you're not a giver, I don't think you're gonna end up being alone. You have to be giving.
Well, I've never stopped giving, and I never will stop giving.
No, I don't mean you. I mean
yes,
you in general.
and then that's now me personally. I have a responsibility to give back. I truly believe that, because the world, society, the environment, they've been very good to me. Mm-hmm. And so at my age and where I am, I feel that I'm obligated to give back to those people that have, to those things, to those causes, to whatever that have helped me get to where I am today. That's
a great philosophy to have. That's fantastic.
Well, I'll tell you, here's where I got the philosophy. Well, I'll share this with you because it's the have you heard of the Kauffman Foundation in Cincinnati, in Kansas City? Okay, I have been involved with them. I have followed them for a good many years, and about 3 or 4 years ago, they came up with the Entrepreneur's Pledge. Mm-hmm. And Sherry, I'll tell you, I have never read, and this is the pledge from here to here, and it's in big letters. I have never read anything that hits to my heart as closely as this pledge does.
And, is it too long? Can you read it for us?
Actually, you can go. To that point, I will read it. I will read it. But if you go to my YouTube channel, it's my featured. It's my featured YouTube
trailer. Okay. Okay.
And I do it every 6 weeks. I do it. I make a new YouTube on it because I'll read it to you. It's a wonderful philosophy. It's called the Entrepreneur's Pledge, and you can actually sign up and take the pledge at buildastrongeramerica.com. That's a Kauffman website. Buildastrongeramerica.com.
Okay. Read it.
Okay. I am an entrepreneur. I am following a dream, pursuing an opportunity, taking charge of my own destiny. Mm-hmm. I am bringing something of value to society, making a job for myself and for others, and creating wealth that benefits my family, my community, my country, my world. I am one of a movement of millions of entrepreneurs and innovators who made America great, and Canada. they don't say Canada, but I'll say Canada. Mm-hmm. And who will keep our economy going and growing. I am what I am because many people have helped me along this journey. So that's the I am part of it. Okay, therefore, I will tell my story, sharing my successes and failures so that others taking the entrepreneurial path can learn. I will strive to mentor an aspiring entrepreneur. I stop for a moment on that one. I am mentoring thousands of entrepreneurs with what I'm doing. So that's a real strong point. I will make my voice heard by those who make policy decisions that affect me and my business. I don't do a great job on that, but I do belong to an organization called the National Federation of Independent Businesses, NFIB. I pay dues, and they're the spokespeople for small business. So I outsource that part of it to them. Good. That's what they do for a living. I appreciate and celebrate my accomplishments and the accomplishments of all my fellow entrepreneurs. I will give back to the society that helped me to be successful. I will build a stronger America. That's my motto.
That's great.
Isn't that wonderful?
Yes, it is. It's good to have it on your wall and look at it every day.
Well, not only do I have it on my wall, it's in my background here. And then once every 4 to 6 weeks, I actually re-record that YouTube, and I might do an editorial comment, like I just did, what's happening in my life at that moment. So it's a good thing to live by.
That's great. Well, thank you very much for. What happened? Did you drop?
Too much stuff here. Oh, I was telling you that the only time management that I've really studied is from Brian Tracy. I don't know if you've ever read of Brian's stuff.
Yeah.
I had a wonderful opportunity 2 years ago to be involved with him on a book project.
Oh, great. He's very well known.
How cool is it to have my picture on the front cover with Brian Tracy?
Nice. Very nice.
And so I had through that whole event, I'd never met him before, but I've been following him for years. And one of the most thrilling 30 minutes of my life was going one-on-one with him. And I actually presented him this is my copy of what I presented him. It was a poster thanking him for being my most important life and business mentor.
That's good.
And boy, it was such a thrilling moment. And he had spoken to this gathering. I was among a group of authors, and he had spoken to us, and I went up to him after his presentation, and I said, you know, I listened, and there were 2 things that you didn't say today that I really expected you to say, because they're things that have really impacted my life. Mm-hmm. And well, of course, he wanted to know what those things were. And one of the things that he did, I've listened to it many times. You stand in front of a mirror and you say, I like myself. I like myself. Mm. I like myself. I like myself. Say it 4 times. Whatever reason, whatever number, why he picked 4, I don't know. He said, you didn't say that. And then the other thing that you didn't say is that you are obviously the most prolific business author ever. And I read one time and heard you say one time that you will not do a book unless you are convinced that 1 million people will read that book. I mean, that's really his mindset. Mm. And he kind of looked at me and he smiled and he said to me, you really are a student, aren't you? how thrilling was that for my mentor to call me a student?
Yeah, that's fantastic. That's great.
But actually, when you think about this stuff, there is time management concepts tied into that pledge.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Yeah, I would, as I wrote to you the other day, I'd love to do a Google Hangout on air with you.
Sure.
And it'll become a YouTube, and I will market it. and we'll market Sherry. And is time management your central theme or just one of your themes?
No, it's part of my, I basically, the way I would say, describe myself is that I find that I am, when I interact with people and when I look at what I offer to people and what is the most strength, is that I think I'm a business mentor with specialty in social media. So that is why the topic of this discussion was making time for social media in your already busy life. You saw that the concepts that I talked about is much broader than just social media, but then it's focused on this field, on this very fast changing field. And I teach social media at UCSD. I practice it, so that's my focus. But I find myself very often that I end up giving people business coaching advice.
Well, I'm going to say they somewhat tie together because the best people that I follow are ones who really can teach me something about business, and so
I think one of the major issues with business owners and also my students, my students just finished presenting their presentations for me, and one thing that I see common among my students and business owners that I run into, there is a disconnect between business objectives and social media. People aren't sure how to connect the two. So that, I feel like that's where I come in, where I just don't tell them do this to have more Twitter followers or to pump out content. You have to be able to know how you get your activities on social media to be tied to business. And another time management tip that I didn't include was that when you sit behind a computer as a business owner or any type of professional that tries to use technology, when you sit behind a computer, you have to know why is it that you're doing what you're doing. What is the purpose of you going on your Facebook? That's why it's important to have themes, to have a plan, and it's important to know, okay, this thing that I'm doing in here, how is it going to get me closer to developing a relationship with people so that you can serve them as clients. Unless there is that purpose, you can spend hours and hours in social media channels and behind your computers and getting nowhere. So when you sit in that chair, know what your purpose is every day.
Great point. Absolutely great point. And I'll share with you something. I don't know if you've heard me say it in one of our Tuesday discussions or not. I've had a Facebook fan page for over 3 years, a LinkedIn page over 3 years. It was about a year and a half, 2 years ago that I started tweeting, but I today spend zero time in any of those, interesting enough. And the reason is they never did much for me personally. So the technology that I have put into place for myself right now, and it's a great time management tool. It's a great time management tool. When I do a YouTube, and I focus on YouTubes and Hangouts on there. I've done over 500 YouTubes on small business, starting a business. Those are my basic themes. And as soon as I'm done with that YouTube and I post it on YouTube, it automatically goes to my Facebook fan page. I don't even hit a share button. It automatically goes to Facebook, LinkedIn, and Twitter. I've got almost 8,000 Twitter followers that I don't do anything with. I have no idea. But what it does is they get a link to the YouTube that I've just done. And that's the only time I spend.
one day you'll have to come to our show and tell us what your Startup America partnership is all about. Right now,
It's not mine. It's a actually real quickly. It was January 31st, 2012. I remember the day well. The Kauffman Foundation and Steve Case, the guy who was one of the co-founders of AOL, of the original America Online, he has a foundation now, and the two of them represented private business, and they were making a partnership with the government, with the administration,
SBA,
and it was mainly to get America started again, because 2 years ago, going back about 3 years ago, in between 3 and 4 years ago, the Kauffman Foundation made in their research, made a very clear statement that if our country, and they were talking about the United States more so than the rest of the world, if we were going to get back to what I call a sense of normalcy, the economy was going to have to create 300,000 new jobs every month.
So we have to support small business.
For 36 months. 300,000 jobs a month for 36 months to get back to where we were. Wow. We haven't come anywhere close to that number. As a matter of fact, just today, the Labor Department stated just today, in last month, in the month of May, there were only 175,000 new jobs created. So we're way behind whatever the Kauffman Foundation said this is where we need to be. So I literally was watching that whole presentation that day from the White House or from somewhere in Washington, and I was live streaming that to my audience on another. So I was holding up with my actually it was I've got a screen, a computer behind this little thing here. We had two different things going on. Well, I made a commitment. I made a personal commitment that day that I was going to do whatever I could to the Startup America partnership. So
okay, well, you're gonna have to come and tell us about it some other day, because I have to wrap this up. Thank you very much for listening and for your input. It was very valuable, and I'm sure when I'll tell our audience let them know when you're coming and telling us about.
Great. One last question to you. Do you teach? Did I hear you say you teach?
Yeah, I teach at UCSD. I teach social marketing by social media.
Great.
Yeah.
I would attend your class if I was in that community.
But it's actually once every other semester it's offered online, so if you wanted to take it.
Okay, well, thank you very much.
Thank you. And like I said, the next 2 weeks we're going to have Cynthia Sanchez teaching us about how to use Pinterest for business and how do you know that it's working. So until
had you you stated an interest, but had you actually committed to a date with me to do a hangout?
We'll talk about it offline. I'll add you to the to my community, and then we'll talk offline.
Okay, great.
Okay.
Have a wonderful weekend.
You too. Bye-bye.
Bye.